Hey everybody. So I'm going to take a few minutes in this video to go over the song lyrics that you read for last week's discussion. If you remember, those lyrics were Sunday morning coming down. Probably made most famous by Johnny Cash, but actually written by Kris Kristofferson. And this song is actually the beginning of their friendship. Prior to Johnny performing this song on television for the first time, Kristofferson was actually just a janitor at Columbia Records. And he had sort of become friends with Johnny's wife, June Carter. But he and Johnny weren't really friends yet. But that all changed with this song. And, Kris Kristofferson is a very prolific songwriter. He's a pretty amazing dude, man. He, master's degree, he was a Rhodes Scholar, he was captain in the Army, I think. But he had a chance to be a professor at West Point and turned it all down because his dream was to be a songwriter. And so he lived that struggling artist's life for a while. And then Johnny Cash sings this song on national television, and the rest is history. So, anyway, if you've heard the song, you've probably heard it sung by Johnny Cash. But it's actually Kristofferson's lyrics. Him sick. So Sunday morning coming down. What is this song about? Before I really knew the song, like, I had heard it, like, when I was a kid, but I didn't really pay attention to the lyrics, because you don't really when you're, I'm talking like little. And just hearing the title and hearing the chorus, Sunday morning coming down, I always envisioned, like when things come down on you, like Sunday morning coming down, like you're being, like the weight of something is pressing down on you. And it wasn't until I was older and really listened to the lyrics that I was like, oh, it's not Sunday morning coming down. He is coming down on a Sunday morning. Coming down from the high of the night before. So the song is essentially about a man who wakes up Sunday morning and is probably still feeling the effects of the partying that he did the night before, and kind of walks around aimlessly outside around the neighborhood, and everything about Sunday morning, the song is about how Sunday morning affects him when he's in that state of mind, still feeling the effects, still hungover from the night before. So he's the one coming down. It just happens to be on a Sunday morning. But the fact that it's a Sunday morning is pretty important, right? So, well, I woke up Sunday morning with no way to hold my head that didn't hurt. So he's feeling pretty lousy. Every way he moves, his head hurts. And the beer I had for breakfast wasn't bad. So he immediately wakes up and is having a beer for breakfast. So I had one more for dessert. And, that's often, you'll hear the phrase, the hair of the dog that bit you. So if you wake up hungover, a lot of people will say the best cure is to start drinking again. And that seems to be what's happening here. We could be talking about like a full-blown alcoholic or addict who has to have it first thing in the morning so that they don't go through withdrawals. Me. I don't know that there's enough to fully support that interpretation, but I think it's definitely a possibility. Definitely have it on the table. So beer I had for breakfast wasn't bad, so I had one more for dessert. Then I fumbled in my closet for my clothes and found my cleanest dirty shirt. So we're not real concerned with, appearances and hygiene and cleanliness, right? I shaved my face and combed my hair. Who looked at that? And stumbled down the stairs to meet the day. I'd smoked my brain the night before with cigarettes and songs I'd been picking, but I lit my first and watched a small kid cussing at a can that he was kicking. This very innocent image of a child playing kick a can down the street. Then I crossed the empty street and caught the Sunday smell of someone frying chicken. And it took me back to something that I'd lost somehow, somewhere along the way. And that's when we start to understand the significance of Sunday morning. The streets are empty, right? Everyone's either at church maybe, or they're just at home with their families. Especially, that used to be the norm on a Sunday. We don't really get that so much anymore these days. But certainly, even when I was younger, Sundays were much quieter. And you kind of get that feeling that, from what the images that he shared with us so far. But it took him back to something that he lost somehow, somewhere along the way. So, has he lost the innocence of the child playing kick the can down the street? Has he lost that comfort of family and home-cooked meals on a Sunday afternoon? Don't know yet. On the Sunday morning sidewalk, wishing, Lord, that I was stoned. So he's still hung over from the night before. Woke up, the first thing he did was, drink a couple beers, and then he's kind of just wandering aimlessly alone outside on this Sunday morning, and he is wishing that he was stoned. Could it be because he feels horrible, and, being stoned, he wouldn't, physically feel so bad? Or is it more of, that memory of something that he lost somehow, somewhere along the way? Is it that feeling that makes him wish he was stoned, so he didn't have to emotionally feel that way? Right? Because there's something in a Sunday makes a body feel alone. And there's nothing short of dying half as lonesome as the sound on the sleeping city sidewalks Sunday morning coming down. Well, I think it's the emotional aspect, based on the rest of those lyrics, right? Why does he wish he was stoned? Because there's something in a Sunday makes a body feel alone, and there's nothing short of dying half as lonesome as the sound on the sleeping city sidewalks Sunday morning coming down. So it's everything that he is seeing, everything he's experiencing, and everything he's remembering and longing for that makes him wish he was stoned. Because the only thing worse is death, pretty much. Right? There's nothing short of dying. Half as lonesome as the sound. So in the park, I saw a daddy with a laughing little girl who was swinging. And again, another picture of innocence and family, right? And I stopped beside a Sunday school and listened to the song that they were singing. So now there's that other aspect of what is, at least even still today for a lot of people, the norm on a Sunday morning is a church service. And, all of these things that he is sharing with us, all of these things he's seeing, smelling, hearing, they're all things that he is missing from his life right now. And it's interesting that we have a mention of a church and children singing. Stopped beside a Sunday school and listened to the song that they were singing. So is that something else that he is missing from his life? That innocence of childhood, that comfort of family and home-cooked meals, and perhaps the absence of um, religion or spirituality. And somewhere far, then I headed back for home, and somewhere far away, a lonely bell was ringing, and it echoed through the canyons like the disappearing dreams of yesterday. That's really beautiful. The imagery in these lyrics is really powerful. You know, he is painting pictures for us, and they're clear. Like, I can close my eyes and see it. I can see this little town as it's walking through. I can see all of it. I can hear that lonely bell ringing and echoing. And he compares it to the disappearing dreams of yesterday. That all of these things that he has witnessed on this little walk Sunday morning, they are that bell's echo, the disappearing dreams of yesterday. And then we get the chorus again. On a Sunday morning sidewalk, wishing more that I was stoned. So it's a bit of a downer of a song. There's not a lot of really happy stuff going on. I mean, the images are happy, but within the context of the speaker and what they're going through, the images are more melancholy, kind of sad in a way. But the images themselves are gorgeous, and it's so relatable and so easy for us to imagine in our own mind. And that's what good imagery is. Good imagery is painting that picture with words, and we can close our eyes and see it. And that imagery is so integral to the meaning of the lyrics and how it makes me feel, and why Sunday morning coming down is so hard for him, and why he wishes he was stoned so he didn't have to feel that way. He didn't have to think about all of these things that he's lost somewhere along the way, all of those, disappearing dreams of yesterday. And what's interesting is if you listen to the song, the music does not exactly match the tone of the lyrics. The music is actually kind of upbeat and kind of happy in a way. So I like that juxtaposition. And that's why, even though lyrics, they are poetry, if it's intended to be a song, the music, the instruments are an important part of understanding the lyrics. And, that's why it is poetry, but it's not quite poetry. But you can see all the poetic elements that are in here. And this one especially is the imagery, the pictures that he gives us, and how they all connect, and how they all represent something very specific for him. They're not just random images that he sees. They're the ones that stick out to him. They're the ones that he remembered enough to share with us. And there's a reason for that. So the imagery is the key here. And then, kind of the metaphor and the simile, that they remind him of something he lost somewhere along the way, and then the bell, the echo, like the disappearing dreams of yesterday. So you take the imagery, and then you take those little moments of metaphor and simile, and then the chorus about, wishing Lord that I was stoned, and, how it's tough on a Sunday morning coming down, then it makes perfect sense, right? So, lyrics that have you scratching your head. But it is easy to listen to the song or read through the lyrics and understand why it's good or why it's popular, but not fully appreciate the poetry of it, right? And if you haven't ever heard this song, I would give this one a listen as well, you know? Probably the one by Johnny Cash. Alright, if you have any questions or any further thoughts, be sure to share it in the journal. Otherwise, you guys are free to go ahead and complete the week 4 journal.